So you suck at Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Well, today I'm going to show you how not to suck, and it's using one operator, and his name is Kapkan. Now, Kapkan is a unique defender, being that he has the entry denial device, or EDDs, and these are deadly. So I'm going to show you the top, like, 4 or 5 spots on every single ranked map, and we're going to go in the order that they are listed on the Ubisoft Rank Pool website. So we're going to do the first 8 today, and then we're going to do the next 8 in the second part of this video. But starting off, we've got Nighthaven Labs. Now, Nighthaven, despite its large size, really isn't a great map for Kapkan, to be honest, but there are a few spots where you can catch attackers off guard and get some free, easy eliminations. The first one is over here in CC Hallway. This is Command Center, the main bomb site you go, and a really easy Kapkan spot is just to throw them on the inside of this wall. I like to put at least 2 here, sometimes 3 to get a guaranteed kill. In case you don't know, each Kapkan does about 50 damage. 2 will usually down an opponent, except for, I think 3 armors can tank 2, but 3 is a guaranteed elimination no matter what armor the opponent is. So, right here, tucked in this little nook, there'll usually be footholes, there'll be something on this doorway, stuff to distract opponents. The second best spot, in my opinion, is right down here in Warehouse. If you come into the entrance and just put them on this door, a lot of the times this is a spot where people like to rush through to try and get into stairs and get up the site, and they'll just straight up not check this doorway. You'll be surprised how often this one works. People just coming in and trying to rush up to contest the balcony area. Another great spot is right here in the hallway. A ton of people rush this window when you go basement site. They'll throw a ram through, jump through, and immediately start contesting basement. And what you can do, if you aim all the way down where the symbol appears, and you put 2 on this window, you get an easy down. You can come up and eliminate them. You can put a 3rd one on this side of the window to get an elimination, but this just greatly increases the chances that they'll see it. I think it's worth it just to get the down player early in the round. For the 4th spot, come over here into lobby, and then just right here on the lobby door. Again, this is another spot to catch players who are rushing. They're just going to run through, trying to come over into here. Usually for the basement site, they'll want to go through cafeteria. And they will drone out. You might think this doorway, but this is really commonly droned out. If you put one right here, it's going to get seen by a drone, most likely. And once players are in the map, they're usually a lot more cautious. So putting them on these entryways can catch a lot of players off guard. And then the final spot will be in here in Animus. When you go the basement site, putting your Kapkans on the left side of the tank to Animus door is just a really solid spot because, one, there'll be, once you breach this wall and you get in, it is like super stressful to fight all these different angles that you're contesting. And whenever they finally decide to rush in and push, bang, they are eliminated by a Kapkan. You can really even just get away with 2 here. You don't have to go the full 3 because they're usually going to be lit up a little bit by the time they get in here. Or if they do get downed, they're on site, much less likely to get picked up by a teammate. But that's Nighthaven. Now let's move on to Stadium. So yeah, Stadium got removed from Ranked. I'll still keep in the Kapkan traps, but I'm going to throw them at the end of the video. So if you're interested in Stadium, just wait till the end. Now, unfortunately for Kapkan players, he is most often banned on Emerald Plains, which kind of sucks. But if you do get the opportunity to play him, he can actually be pretty effective. So the first Kapkan spot is going to be over here in Library. Players will often push through Archive and just kind of move into Library to go fight over here. And a good spot is right on the right side of the doorway. Sometimes I'll put them on the left. It's just, I think the right works better because usually, you might take a peek at the stairs. No one ever checks this corner. It's also a good rat spot if you didn't know. But yeah, these Kapkans work out a good bit of the time. Another good spot is right here on the doorway that goes out to the balcony. I'll rip down this barricade in a second to show you. But this goes out to the balcony. A lot of players will just shoot this open or ash rush it or something to get quickly into Green Hall. and those Kapkans can catch them off guard. And here is a trash Kapkan spot. A lot of players put them here just because this is the main way that they usually push into the site. They breach this wall and then they come in. But this area is so heavily droned that you pretty much never get any Kapkan eliminations from it. It is rare that they will miss a Kapkan trap right here. Another good one is for the kitchen site, just to have 1 or 2 on the dining door, just to give you a little extra layer of protection. A lot of times they'll rush in through the memorial window and come and try and get into sight. And by having 1 or 2 here, it at least gives you a sound cue if they do shoot it, or they will run into it and hit it, obviously. Next spot is in fireplace. This spot's good because not a lot of people will play here. It's very, very exposed. They can even see you from the roof. Nobody goes to the roof on Emerald Plains, but it's there. You can be seen from the balconies. There's these double doorways. So a lot of times attackers will come from this side of the map, either from that door over there, from lobby, and just try and push in to get closer to sight. So having them over here on the right side of the door can be really effective in catching players that aren't as familiar with the map and really aren't expecting Kapkan traps to be around there. And then the final Kapkan spot is the good old inside double door play. Generally, I put them on this side. Sometimes what I'll do is put 2 on this side that I expect them to hit, and then I'll put 1 over here as a bait, because usually when you push in from here, you're going to be kind of checking this area, and then you run through to check this, and you're so close right here, you don't see them, but you'll be like, oh, free Kapkan, bang, and then you still get hit with these 2 and get down. So that was Emerald Plains. Now let's move on to our next map, which is Bank. Now, honestly, my Kapkan spots on Bank are so good, I almost don't even want to show them to you because I use them so much, and they're really, really effective. I get a lot of hits with these, but I'm going to be nice. I'm going to show you guys the spots. And the first one, probably, I don't know how more people don't know about this. It is the printer Kapkan spot. Now, you used to be able to put them on this left side, I think, so they're more hidden, but you can't do that anymore. But even still, putting 3 Kapkan traps right here, it's just gonna, it's like a KD booster. It's almost every single time they hit these stupid Kapkans. I don't know why. They're not even well hidden. I think it's just because people try and rush in and get through printer. But yeah, that spot, probably the best Kapkan spot in the game. It pretty much is always an elimination. Next spot, a lot of people just straight up don't check here. Just toss a couple in electrical. If they try and rush in, or even if they don't rush, they don't really drone out this side. They're going to be worried. They'll have like footholds along here, all that stuff. They got to go out into square where they can get shot from a million angles. Last thing they're going to be doing is checking the left side of this door. And then here is another great spot. The only problem is it's a low traffic area. It is right here on this double door that goes from lobby into the hallway. Now, no one's ever going to see these Kapkans. Put them down here in this left corner. The problem is, are people going to push into this doorway? A lot of the time, no, so you won't get hits. But if they do push in, they'll pretty much never check the spot for Kapkan traps at all. Moving down to the basement, one you might not think about, that you might want to just put one Kapkan trap, is right here on the vault entrance. If they drop elevator or even come down main and they want to go into vault, they're going to be moving quick and they might hit it. It is another low traffic area, so I'm not going to say put 3 here, but if you got an extra one and you're back on site, toss it there. You're likely to get a hit with it. Another really good one is right here on the red hallway. If you toss a couple on the right side. Now, these Kapkans, if they hit these, you're probably losing this round, because it's not good when attackers are in this hallway. But if they push from garage, they might try and sneak in, kill the Mira, or if they plant on site, they might have someone run in. And there's just so much motion, they may not see them, but, you know, the reason I don't put them on this side is because if they are pushing from here, they're going to see them immediately and just take them off. So right here, at least you got a chance of someone hitting them. And then for the final spot on bank, we come over into the executive lounge and you just put them right here on the doorway. This is one of those spots where, you know, it's very late in the round. Players have pushed it. They've they've taken hits, they've gotten through a million utility, and they finally go to plant, bang, Kapkan right there, just waiting for him. One of the better Kapkan spots in the map. But now let's move on to maybe the #1 map for Kapkan, which is Border. Now, you know, we're on Border. We got to start off with the #1 Kapkan spot. I said printer was #1. This might be #1. Is this little hallway archway right here? Oh, it's not even an arch. People never check it. It's either they know about this spot or they don't. Because if they don't know about it, they're hitting it. I don't know why it works so often. You'd think everyone would know by now. Apparently not, but this doorway gets so many hits. Now, there used to be like a blue couch right here, and when you put Kapkans, they would kind of go into the couch, but instead they replaced it with this wall, and the Kapkan traps to the wall. So, if you go into security and put your Kapkans right here, it's a good spot. The only problem, again, is if people push here. Sometimes they'll go in through that window, but if they do come in through this door, it's likely that they will hit these spots. Especially if you have the Kapkan Elite. I don't have it, but if you do, his Kapkans blend in really well with this couch. This next spot is a personal favorite of mine that I don't see a lot of people do. And you're likely to get some eliminations with it. It is to come right here and put a couple on this doorway by detention, because a lot of people will buck open this wall and move in to try and get control of metal, and this spot is just great. The only problem is there is the small chance that they will jump through the window. It's not too often they do that, but sometimes they can and avoid your Kapkan spots. But still, it's a good spot regardless. Our second to last spot is right here in Passport. Just toss them on the left side. The reason this works, I think it's because there's like kind of a lot of clutter right here. So when attackers open this wall, even though they might look, it might like just go past their vision because there's like these gray chairs and it just kind of tricks them into not seeing it. Only problem with this one, low traffic area again, so, you know, but if they do come in here, you have a good likelihood of hitting these Kapkan traps. And then our fifth and final spot is right here in small office on the small office window. This is going to give you an extra layer of protection if they push metal. A lot of times players go through the metal detector and make a bunch of noise, so they will simply push up metal and hop into small office, and you can slam them with these two traps. But those are all my spots for Border. Now let's go on to Chalet. The Chalet, I think, is a little bit of an underrated spot for Kapkan. A lot of players just don't think of playing him because they know a lot of the more common spots. I'm going to show you my favorites, and for me, they still work quite a bit. #1, very simple, just right here on the trench door. A lot of times players will come down trench, and they can't really sit right here because it's kind of exposed to a doorway, so it's less likely they'll notice them. They'll be on their drone right here, and if the drone doesn't see them, they're pushing right in, getting hit. Another great one is right here in the storage room, just to put them on the left side of this door. If they push in, of course they're going to go for the plant, but say they get the plant down, they're going to try and push in to get some more kills. Bang. Not expecting a Kapkan trap, sitting right there next to site. This next one is for when you go upstairs. If you put a couple right here next to the game room, you'll be surprised how many hits these get. I think it's because, you know, they push into game and then they're looking up at the stairs while they push out. These get a ton of hits for me, and you wouldn't really expect it being in such an open area. The only bad part with these is if they end up pushing through the mudroom, they're going to just see them and eliminate them. So you do have to worry about that, but if they come in through game, these are getting a hit. For library, this is like a kind of a double spot. What I like to do is put one right here, and then another one right here in the library hall. Because that way, you know, if they're pushing through, they get control of library, they might be rushing to get to the hallway, and they'll hit this one. You got the two kind of players this one. Okay, you got the one where they'll hit a Kapkan trap and then they sprint. I don't know why some players do this, but they hit a Kapkan trap and then they're like, ah, and they run and they hit the second one and die. Then you have the type where, you know, they'll see the first Kapkan, eliminate it, think it's clear, and then rush in, get hit by the second one. And then the last Kapkan spot I have for you is right here in Master Bathroom. just to put it right next to the solar door, because a lot of times players, they'll push up solar, they'll get to the jacuzzi room, and they've got so much to worry about, footholes. They don't know if anyone's in piano. They won't think to look for a Kapkan trap. So there's Chalet. Now let's go on to Clubhouse. Now Clubhouse, I do think, is one of the weaker maps for Chalet. Attackers spend a lot of time playing outside, so by the time they actually do get inside, they're being very wary of where they are, as well as the fact that there aren't too many inside doorways, if that makes sense. Like, once you're in the map, okay, of course I'm in the area with the most doorways in the entire map, but generally the most of the map is very wide open once you actually get inside. But one good spot is right here on Gym, on this window, especially if like you banned Cade and you don't have access to them, it'll be unlikely that there will be a player right here on Gym window.
Your location has been compromised.
So they'll be less likely to try and, get the Cade call from out here. So players will breach this wall and then go in to try and get the plant down, get the Kapkan trap. Now this is one of my favorite spots right here in kitchen, just to put them on the freezer door, just because, players will push in, they're worried about the hatch, they're worried about players playing around. The kitchen door can get them a lot of the time. They won't be expecting that. Again, the only problem, they come window first, they're seeing that. Now, when we go to the basement right here, you think that people would see this one a lot, but surprisingly it doesn't get checked too often. They try and get the hatch, maybe they get denied or something. They push down the main stairs, and now they've got so much to worry about looking at here. There's usually headholes here. There could be people behind the crates over there. They just get nervous and they run in, Kapkan. And then we leave the Valley of Doom and we head over into Church. And this is where final Kapkan spot is. I think this one works pretty well. A lot of players will drop the Memorial Hatch and head into Church to try and plant. And just having one right here in this doorway is actually pretty effective. They'll rush in, try and fight, get the plant off, and get hit with a Kapkan. Again, I wouldn't put more than one right here. Maybe two if you really don't have anywhere else to put your traps at. But just having one right here works for the most part. Lets you know when someone's coming in, gives them a hit, takes off a lot of their health, and they're all disoriented being hit by a trap. And now let's move on to the final map of part 1, which is Coastline. Coastline is one of those maps where you actually get to play Kapkan a decent amount because people are worried about banning Azami, Fenrir, Cade, all that stuff. And Kapkan kind of gets lost in the mix there. And the first spot, really great, is this VIP door. A lot of people will push Hall of Fame and just take control of VIP, and there'll be a Kapkan sitting there waiting for them to hit. It actually works a decent amount of the time. This next one is down here by main lobby. A lot of people just don't think of this as a doorway, and if you put them on the right side, you'll be surprised how many eliminations you get with it. I would really only put this one here when you go kitchen site, because otherwise this is like a no traffic area. No one will be here when you're upstairs. But if you go kitchen, you have a decent chance of getting a hit on a spot like this. Another good one is right here in reception. For some reason, this bottom Kapkan trap is invisible pretty much. You can't really see it. The other ones don't work that way. I think that bottom drawer is pushed out a little bit. But if you just put one there, it's a guaranteed hit if they push in through here, because as an attacker, you might not even recognize that as a Kapkan trap. It just looks like a design on the desk. Another one that you might not think about too often is to put one right here in security on the left side of this doorway. Players will often, take control of office and they'll push through blue bar, but every now and then a player will come down to try and come fight main, or they might rotate through here later in the round. And as you can see, this one kind of goes like halfway into the door frame, and it hides it really well. You really have to be looking for this Kapkan to see it. And then my final Kapkan spot is right here on the hallway window. Why does this one work? I don't know. A ton of attackers will rappel up here, or if it's a Mario, she's getting hit. But a lot of attackers will rappel up, and they'll just not see the Kapkan. They'll just hop right in, get hit by it. I wouldn't double this one up because it's not too often that an attacker will actually go to this window. But on occasion they do, and they'll get hit with that Kapkan. But that is the first half of all the best Kapkan spots in the game. I'll be posting the second part to this soon, so stay tuned, and let me know if I missed any of your favorite Kapkan traps, or if you want me to try them out in a game, see if they are effective or not, and if you're looking forward to any spots coming up in the second part of this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Once again, Stadium isn't one of those maps that's amazing for Kapkan due to it being unfamiliar to a lot of players and they drone out quite a bit, and just generally having a lot of doorways but also having long hallways that players can use to avoid those doorways. But despite that, there's still a couple spots that really work on this map. First is going to be right over here when you go kitchen site, just throwing, really I like to put 3, but just to get the elimination, but on this doorway, because if players do like some kind of rush plant trying to get the plants off, they might have smokes down, they're not going to notice the 2 Kapkans, and you'll get a free elimination right there on site. For the second best spot, it is actually on the main entrance doorway. Now you might think you want to put them on this side because it's the it's the side that they walk in not looking at, but for some reason putting them on this left side gets an elimination almost every time. I have such a high success rate with this one, especially if you do 3 of them. I'm just not putting 3 because I don't want to keep doing it for the video, but especially if you get the elimination and then you just sit in ventilation with Kapkan and they're gonna be like, oh, my teammate died to a Kapkan, now I can run through and start clearing it out, and then bang, you're right here waiting to slam them. Surprisingly, the right side, or the left if you're looking at it, side of the hookah door seems to work for me sometimes. Players will often drop this hatch, and while they're droning, they're not really looking for Kapkans, they're looking for a player playing in hookah, and they might not notice them, and a lot of times they'll run into here to either get on their drones or to just move into the hallway. So this spot catches a few players off guard. And then for our fourth and final spot on Stadium is going to be right here on the archives door. Usually when players get this deep in the map, if they push all the way through Fountain, through offices, through this little connector room, they get all the way right here, they fought the whole way. The last thing they're going to be expecting is 2 Kapkans just waiting for them when they try and finally push onto site. So this one's a good one just to catch a couple players off guard.